Hey everyone, welcome to the show. I have updates to share about America's defendant, Rudy Giuliani. So he was ordered to appear. This is at yet another contempt hearing. This was last Friday. I know this sounds like Groundhog's Day, but it's not. This is another contempt hearing on a Friday. So this hearing was to determine if he violated an injunction which prohibited him from spreading lies and conspiracy theories, more lies and conspiracy theories about election workers Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss. Because as you all know, I'm sure if you've been following this show and this story, Moss and Freeman won their defamation lawsuit against Giuliani. So he refused to turn over any discovery items. He didn't want to, sit for depositions. He just fought at tooth and nail. And so they won. And so as a result, Giuliani agreed in writing to stop defaming them. But they've since found out, they've since caught him continuing to propagate these same lies, the same lies that resulted in a $148 million judgment against him. So Moss and Freeman's attorneys filed a complaint with the court, and the judge told Giuliani, you need to appear in person. Well, just like with the last contempt hearing, Giuliani made up all kinds of excuses. And he said, I can't attend. It was the same BS that he tried the last time with that last hearing, various health conditions that he has. Those excuses didn't fly with the last judge. So this time, he submitted the same stuff, but then he added a little international intrigue. So Giuliani's attorney told the judge, quote, there have been a number of credible death threats against Mayor Giuliani, including 2 successful prosecutions and others that could be detailed if necessary. As one of the more outspoken critics of the current Iranian regime, at a time of heightened terrorism concerns following the recent events in New Orleans and Las Vegas, and the escalating conflict between Israel and Iran and its various proxies, it is reasonable to take extra precautions regarding Mayor Giuliani's safety and to limit travel whenever possible. All of this not only makes travel burdensome, but also complicates entrance to and exit from the courthouse. Well, unluckily for Giuliani, he got U.S. District Judge Beryl Howell. She is presiding over this portion of the case, and she is no fool. So basically, Judge Howell used the trick that every parent knows and every parent implements when their kid pretends to be sick because they don't want to go to school. She told Giuliani, okay, you don't have to appear in person, but you're not going anywhere else either. She didn't phrase it in that way, but what Judge Howell said in response to this ridiculous request, she said, you're going to have to put something in writing. You're going to have to submit a sworn declaration confirming, quote, he has been unable to travel and has not traveled from his residence in Florida for 30 days. And then she also said that they had to swear, quote, he remains unable to and will not travel in the next 30 days due to these same medical conditions and security concerns. So, in other words, no Trump inauguration for you, Rudy Tooty Fresh and Fruity. So, yeah, that didn't work, that wasn't going to work for Giuliani. So he decided, oh, you know what? I don't feel that bad after all, and I don't care if Iran wants me dead. I'll be in that courtroom, damn it. So he showed up. Giuliani appeared before the judge last Friday, and Moss and Freeman had to file a last-minute document because they had last minute evidence brought to their attention about even more false statements, about even more lies that Giuliani's been telling about them in his show. So these were from November 2024. And in one broadcast, Giuliani even mentioned this injunction, and he told his audience, quote, "To hell with it. The minute they started criticizing me, I said, it's over. So to hell with it. I mean, Jesus, it's like a little ridiculous. I have a video showing them counting votes. I have a video." No, he does not. No, he does not. He has a video of them doing their jobs. He has a video of them passing a mint. So he told the judge, or they told the judge, that the information had just been brought to their attention as they were preparing for the hearing, and that's why it was so late. So Judge Howe reviewed all this evidence. She listened to arguments from both sides, and Giuliani's attorney made it clear he doesn't get it. He doesn't get it, and he still plans to spread these conspiracies and these lies about Moss and Freeman. In fact, they pissed off the judge because they tried to relitigate the entire case. Like, they're still trying to relitigate the defamation case. So Hal shut them down. She said, quote, "We're not doing that today. I'm going to move on. This is really just a waste of time." And then she also told his attorneys, quote, "So what you're saying is that this defamation is never going to stop. He believed it in 2020 when he made the original statements. He believed it all throughout the trial. He believes it today. That's chilling." And then she slammed Giuliani for, quote, baseless whining. And she told him, quote, "It is outrageous and shameful that Mr. Giuliani dares to suggest that he is the one being treated unfairly when he heard the evidence at trial. This takes real chutzpah, Mr. Giuliani." So in the end, she slapped him with another contempt charge. So he got hit last week with a contempt. He has now been hit with a second contempt charge. And Judge Howell told him he has until January 20th to, quote, acknowledge and affirm that his statements about Freeman and Moss are false. And then he has to also reach an agreement with them to cover their attorney's fees. So if those two things don't happen by January 20th, Judge Howell said that she is going to fine him $200 per day until he complies. And then she said she may consider their request because Moss and Freeman's attorney wanted her to impose a $20,000 per day fine. So she said she might do that. She might also throw him in jail. And Judge Howell told Giuliani's attorneys, quote, "Confinement or incarceration is obviously the most severe penalty that can be imposed for civil contempt. But I am very concerned, based on statements he made during this hearing, that Mr. Giuliani may not be persuaded to stop making statements that violate the consent judgment in this case without even more severe sanctions." So 2 contempt rulings, and we are not even halfway through January. And then Giuliani still has a trial coming up at the end of this week. And this one is to determine if he gets to keep his Florida condo and his Yankees World Series rings. So he might have to turn those over to Moss and Freeman as well as all the other stuff. And the issue is Giuliani is making an assertion that Florida is where his primary residence is, that is his, his property down there, his condo down there is his primary residence. He claims that also that he gifted the rings, the World Series Yankee rings, to his son. So all of that's going to be, just reviewed and discussed this week in this, well, it's a trial, it's not a hearing. And you're not going to believe the story he told the court to try to prove that Florida is his real home base. According to the court documents that were obtained by Newsweek, Giuliani said, quote, "I have a balcony and I used to smoke cigars. Used to smoke cigars here," meaning in Florida, too, "in the courtyard, and they never complained. In New York, my gosh, if I even took a cigar out, they would complain." So his reason is that, well, they let me smoke in Florida. That's why that's his home. Now, I'm confused because I thought that Giuliani had said in, this hearing or before this hearing and before the other hearing that he had a lung condition. I could have sworn that part of the reason he said he couldn't travel to New York for these hearings was because he has this breathing condition from being at Ground Zero after the 9/11 terrorist attack. Yeah, I mean, that's one of the excuses he used. He said, "Oh, I have these lung and breathing issues, and, it necessitates the use of an inhaler, so I can't possibly travel to be there." I mean, for one thing, an inhaler is tiny, it fits in your pocket. So, yeah, that's obviously BS. And then maybe put the cigars down. Maybe you won't have a breathing problem. Maybe you won't need an inhaler if you stop smoking cigars. This guy is so full of it. I swear to God. It is no wonder that he is good friends with Donald Trump, right? I mean, just birds of a feather and all that jazz. Anyway, I will let you all know what happens with all of this. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Please like, please share, and subscribe. Please donate if you can. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.